Blackfacts.com presents Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. The second of three children to Reverend Michael King Sr. and Alberta King. Born by the name of Michael, but later changed to Martin. Religious teachings and discipline have been at the core of their upbringing. King graduated high school at the age of 15. September 20, 1948. Received his BA in Sociology from Morehouse College, Atlanta. Later, completed his Bachelor of Divinity degree from Crozer Theological Seminary. In 1951, King began his doctorate in systematic theology at Boston University. On June 18, 1953, King and Coretta Scott are married at the Scott home near Marion, Alabama. The couple is blessed with 2 sons and 2 daughters. September 1, 1954, King begins his pastorate at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. On June 5, 1955, King was awarded his doctorate in systematic theology from Boston University. December 1955, King led the Montgomery bus boycott, which lasted for 385 days. On January 30, 1956, King's house was bombed. However, his family survived. December 1956, the U.S. Supreme Court affirms the Montgomery and Alabama bus segregation laws were unconstitutional. King was among the first passengers right after. February 18, 1957, King became the cover of Time magazine. September 17, 1958, King's first book, Stride Toward Freedom, The Montgomery Story, was published. At a book signing in Harlem, New York, King was stabbed. He survived as the doctor successfully removed a 7-inch letter opener from his chest. February 3, 1959, King embarks on a month-long visit to India, where he met Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. On October 19, 1960, King was arrested during a sit-in demonstration in Atlanta and sentenced to 4 months of hard labor for violating a probated traffic sentence. October 16, 1961, King met President John F. Kennedy and urged him to issue a second Emancipation Proclamation to eliminate racial segregation. December 16, 1961, King and other protesters were arrested by Lori Pritchett during a campaign in Albany, Georgia. In 1962, Dr. King became an adjunct professor at Morehouse College in social philosophy. June 5, 1963, King's book of sermons entitled Strength to Love was published. April 16, 1963, King pens his Letter from Birmingham Jail in response to 8 clergymen's advice that African Americans should wait patiently for justice. August 28, 1963, King delivered the historic speech, I Have a Dream, during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom at the Lincoln Memorial. August 28, 1963, King and other civil rights leaders met President John F. Kennedy and Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson in the White House. On January 3, 1964, King was named Man of the Year by Time magazine. March 26, 1964, King first met Malcolm X in Washington, D.C. June 11, 1964, King was arrested and jailed for demanding service at a whites-only restaurant in St. Augustine, Florida. December 10, 1964, King receives the Nobel Peace Prize at a ceremony in Oslo, Norway. He declares that every penny of the $54,000 award will be used in the ongoing civil rights struggle. August 12, 1965, King publicly opposed the Vietnam War in a mass rally at the 9th Annual Convention of SCLC in Birmingham. On March 28, 1968, King led a march of 6,000 protesters in support of the striking sanitation workers in Memphis. Unintendedly, the march turned violent. April 3, 1968, King returned to Memphis, determined to lead a peaceful march. King conveyed his final speech, I've been to the mountaintop. On April 4, 1968, at 6 p.m., King was standing on the second-floor balcony of the Lorraine Motel. At 6:01 p.m., King was struck by a single bullet, fired from a room of a house across the street. At 7:05 p.m., King was pronounced dead. Riots erupted and a state of emergency was declared. April 9, 1968, at 7:05 p.m., King's funeral was held at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. More than 50,000 people paraded to accompany his coffin.
Says, I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a
dream today. Learn Black history, teach Black history at blackfacts.com.